Hi there, Wildcats. Today we'll be discussing about linear equation in point slope form. Okay, and your point slope form is given as y1 minus y minus y1 is equal to the slope m x minus x1. Okay, where m is your slope. Okay, and then your x, just x, and your y is a given point. Now, how did we arrive this type of form wherein we call it point slope form? We all know that um, in solving for the slope of a given line, we will be using m is equal to the change in y over the change in x. Okay, so what we are doing, it's just like literal equation. We are rearranging the formula. And we want to emphasize about how did we get this form here. So I'm going to change my x2 and y2. So your y2 will become just y, and your x2 will become just x. So I'm going to change that. So I have m. Now instead of y2, I'm going to put y, and then minus y1 over, again, instead of x2, it will become just x minus x1. Now, Mr. Why did you change that? It's because we want to emphasize that we need just only one point in the slope, okay, for to have point slope form. And then I'm going to rearrange this one by multiplying both sides with x minus x1 on this side, and then I'm going to multiply this one too by x minus x1. All right, so of course this will be canceled here. So we only have now m. Okay, I'll just change the color, m. So we have m, multiply that by x minus x1 is equal now to y minus y1. Okay, so as you can see now, we can rearrange this one, just flip that, y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. So that is how we arrive to the point slope form. You can write the equation of a line using any point, which is your x1 and y1, and the slope in slope form or point slope form using this this form y minus y1 m, the quantity x minus x1. Now I have here an example. It says on our example, a line with a slope of 1/2 passes through a point 3, -2. What form can you use to write the equation of a line? What is the equation in that form? Okay, so in this problem, the slope and a point on the line are known, so we know them already. So we use a point slope form. So I'm going to use the point slope form that we did on the first example, or how we derive it. So y1 is equal to m, the quantity x minus x1. So you just plug in. So we have your y1, which is I'll just use the red color here. Y1 is -2 and x1 is 3. So I'll just plug that in. So we have we have y minus -2, that's from the y1 here, is equal to the slope m. Your slope m is 1/2. This is the slope. So that's 1/2. And then x minus your x1, which is 3. So you can just simplify this one here. We have y minus -2, which will give us y plus 2 is equal now to 1/2 x minus 3. Thus, this is now your final answer. The equation in a point slope form is y plus 2 is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. So you can stop there because it's in your it's written in your slope intercept form. All right. So next example is we have, how are we going to graph this in this form? Let us say a given is in point slope form, and how are we going to graph that? So I'm going to discuss that in our next example. So step 1 is identify a point on the line from the equation and plot it. So if I'm going to identify the given point, I have to rearrange this one. So we have y minus 3 is equal to -2/3, and then we have x plus 1, right? So this is the given equation. Now we can see here that the points are y minus 3, meaning this is positive prior to that because it's y minus, okay? So this is positive, and then we have -2/3, and then x minus. How come that we have a positive one here? Meaning the one here is a negative. It's a double negative, that's why it's positive. So the point here would be -1 and then +3. All right, so this is the point that we did. So what are we going to do is we have to plot that point, which is -1, 3. So this is -1, 1, 2, and 3. So this is the point. That's the first step. Identify the points on the given point slope form. Okay. Next is step 2. We have to identify your slope. So the slope here would be the given slope m is equal to -2/3. Meaning the 2 here, this is your vertical change. Okay, vertical change. And the y, it's your horizontal change. Remember that we can use m is equal to your vertical change, which is a y change, change of y, and then horizontal change, which is the change in x. So actually we have to move 2 units down and 3 units right from the first point. Okay, so we do move 2 units down, so 2 units, 1 and 2, and then 3 units going to the right, 1, 2, 3. So you can see the point is at 2, 1. So the point here is at 2, +2, 1. And of course this point here is -3, 1. -3 and 1. Now I'm going to draw a line that will connect these 2 points here. So let's say I'm going to connect that. Is it the perfect line? No. Let's try this once again. Okay, there you go. So this is now the graph of your point slope form. Y minus 3 is equal to -2/3. The quantity x plus 1. So as you can see, we can graph, and you just identify one point and then the slope, right? So next problem will be a word problem, wherein we have to apply point slope form in solving this. Okay, so an event facility has a banquet hall that can hold up to 250 people. The price of the party includes the cost of the room rental plus the cost of the meal for each guest. Marisa is planning an event for 75 people. She has a budgeted 1,200 for the party. Will it be enough? So that's the question. And of course, a given graph is also in our problem. Now, first is we have to formulate. So we have to determine which form of a linear equation is more useful. The number of guests and the total cost represent different data points on a line. The point slope form is more useful. So this is now the application of your point slope form. So the slope represent the cost of each meal. So we are going to use any point. So I'm going to choose. First is we have to solve for the slope. Again, your slope here will represent the cost of each meal. I'll repeat. So the slope will represent the cost of each meal. So I'm going to solve for slope. So this will be the cost of each meal. Okay. So whatever we get here, this will be the cost of each meal. So I'm going to get any 2 points. So I'm going to choose 50 and 725. And the second point will be 100, then 1,325. Okay, so that is my 2 points that I'm going to use. This will be my x1, y1, x2, and then y2. Now I'm going to solve for the slope using m is equal to the change in y minus the change in over the change in x. Right? So just plug in those items that we have or the given. We have y2 is 1,325 minus y1, which is 725. And then we have 100 minus 50. That will give us m is equal to 12. Thus, we can say that the meal cost $12. So we can say each meal cost $12. Okay, so each meal costs $12. Now we will be using point slope form to find the cost of the event for 75 guests. Okay, so for 75 guests, maybe we'll just use a blue color here because we know it already that for each meal it costs $12. How much more if we have 75 guests? So for 75 guests, okay, I'm writing here. For 75 guests, we have y minus y1 is equal to the given slope times x minus x1. Okay. We'll be using the point 50 and 725, 50 and 725, which is this one, the starting one. So y would be y minus your y1, which is 725. So where did you get that 725? It's here, the first point we have, is equal to the slope, which is 12, and then we have x minus 50. Okay, again, your 12 here, it's the cost of each meal. And then we can just simplify that. Y minus 725 is equal to 12 times 75 minus 50. Oh, Mr. Why we have 75? Substitute 75 for x. It's because this is for 75 guests, right? Okay, so it's for 75 guests. So I'll put there 75. It's okay. I'll just highlight that. That 75 here is the number of guests. Okay, and we can now just solve this. We have y is equal now to 300 plus 725. Thus, your y here is equal now to 1025. Now, how are we going to interpret that? When x is, so interpretation of that is that when x, okay, when x is equal to 75, thus your y, okay, if x is equal to 75, I'll just write that properly. Thank you. That's x is 75, thus your y will be 1025, right? So the cost of the event for 75 guests is 1025. So since Marisa budgeted 1,200, okay, for her event, she will have enough money. So Marisa, so since Marisa budgeted 1,200, so 1,200, therefore she has enough money to have that event. So that is the application for point slope form. And again, it's very important that we know at least one point and the slope. Okay, if you have 2 points, then solve for the slope and then get another point from that 2 point to rewrite it in point slope form. Thank you guys and have a good day. Bye bye.